Kemy, excited to have you two here, my friend.
Yeah, man, I love that. Striving to be beautiful, man. Energized and just grateful. Thank you, Pete, and thank you for the whole Rise Up community for this opportunity to have this much needed conversation.
And you both, really quickly, before we dive in with Bunmi, or you came into Rise Up World, right? Like I've never asked y'all that to the like Genesis story, but y'all's Genesis of us is Rise Up World, isn't it?
When I saw you on Grant Cardone stage and I saw y'all connected with Tony Robbins, it was like, all right, no brainer. Jump into Rise Up World, jump into Platinum Accelerator, jump into All In because you guys are the truth. So thank you.
Kemy, and we came up with the little figure of kind of what today is about. We want to present truth, but we came up with the little saying, you say it better than me. Today is about truth with
Truth.
what?
Without the shame and blame so we can change the game. All
Yeah.
right, let's go. Let's go.
And who came up with so
That's
we
like,
can change the game?
you did. This is a half and half, right? This is how we're doing it. This is what we're talking about. Diversity. This is what's possible, man. When we start to actually bring minds and worlds together, it changes what is actually created.
Kemy, welcome to the Rise Up World, man. Welcome to the Rise Up World, dude.
Man, it's amazing, and I actually got a chance to talk with Tim Ringold. We were talking about my vision of being on the stage, talking to you two, just like Bunmi. So it's really hard to enjoy this. It's a crazy time to be like, I'm talking to Pete, I'm talking on Rise Up World, but I'm talking about something that breaks my heart. It is very mixed. It is a very difficult situation to try to enjoy, and all the back end stuff we're doing to prepare to help people. And it's like, thank you, man. I keep saying thank you every time I pop on screen. You see my energy. You know I want to smile, but you also know some of the hardships I've been sharing with you that makes it hard to smile. That makes it hard to so it's truly like Bunmi said, when he said that he stopped dreaming when we were having that town hall, that hit me so hard, and the tears that came. I just realized that this week I stopped all those dreams again. It's just like the trauma came back, and hearing him say that, I was like, I have to go back and dream. And if I take a step back to think about my journey as I kick this up, I feel like I've been split in two worlds for a long time. So I'm Haitian American. I live in Miami, Florida, super diverse. If you come here and you say, hey, are you black? People be like, no, I'm Haitian, or I'm African American, or I'm Jamaican, or I'm Trinidadian. It's like all these different layers to it. And the reason I start with that is because you don't understand how confusing it is to be black and to be from a place where in Haiti, just like other countries, they're receiving the same media that white people and other people who are not black are receiving about what it means to be a black person. So from an early age, my mom told me, hey, stay away from the black people. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm black. I don't even understand what you're telling me. Then I went to school and I started to truly understand because we were being picked on for being Haitian. So even within the black community, it's like, okay, you're not with us. You're not truly with us unless someone's looking from the outside, but internally the divisions that are there. So living in these two spaces, I was taught one version. And so I tell people all the time, I was socialized to also be bigoted, to also be racist, to also be sexist, to also be the things that we are working against right now, to be prejudiced. And it took me a long time to actually figure this out. What does it mean to be who I am now? That I believe in education, and I think it's beyond, for me, beyond education was the actual engagement and connecting with people. Because I had learned a lot of these things, like Bunmi said, it was the slavery, it was learning about Martin Luther King, it was learning about all these people, but it wasn't until I started actually connecting with people who were like me, who weren't like me. People, they say a lot in the African American black community, definitely in the Haitian community, for example, LGBTQ, like there's a conflict. There certainly is a conflict. And it wasn't until I actually had friends in the LGBT community that I started to understand. It wasn't until I actually had friends in different communities. Somebody called me about this conversation and what we've been talking about, and they're from India, and I was realizing, wait, I don't have that many friends from India. Like, wow, here I am telling people go get more black friends. I'm like, I still am growing in my awareness of who I do and do not have in my circle, who's influencing me, who's helping me to learn and grow. So in addition to education, I'm all about that. I was in education for 10 years. I'm all about that. And if you want to do something right now, engage people right now. I think some of the education takes us backwards. I still talk to my mom, and some of the information she's giving me is backwards. I'm like, yo, we got to catch up to right here. We got to make moves right here. And being in a split world, I've been approaching my work from that world of really how do I not only help people to do the work, but understanding I was a kid who got expelled out of fourth grade, Bunmi. I was right there, like failing. I don't even know how I passed fourth grade, to be honest, Pete. I got expelled out of fourth grade. The kind of kid who would pick up chairs and throw them across the classroom, that kind of behavior. I heard from a speaker about a year ago who said, what people don't talk out, they act out. So the kind of traumas that I had as a kid, that they would label me as emotionally handicapped and just put me into this box with other kids who had those same kind of issues, and being on that verge of that school to prison pipeline and seeing teachers who literally came out of the woodwork, many of them who were white teachers, one who I actually assaulted and I was arrested at school. Those same teachers who said, you know what, Kemy, we see something else in you. We want to help to correct your past. So I've been dancing in this realm of what it means to be a Black male, what it means to be dealing with all this emotion and anger. I could see myself back then, especially being the kind of person who would riot and be so furious, to be seeing the trauma come up and not know the words, not be able to use the words I have right now and just only go to action. I could see that. I'm not condoning that, but I can understand that. I can understand the difficulty of trying to value my community when I don't feel valued as a person. I can see that. I can still get fired up about that. And so I take this approach from two worlds of how do we bring these worlds together, knowing that there's so many people who are hurting. And we haven't been given as many vehicles to express our pain. Pete knows I was just on a training. We were talking about male development, and we train males for football. We train male for athletics. We train them to go serve in the army. We train men for battle. We barely train them to deal with our emotions. So for me, specifically being a kid who was labeled as emotionally handicapped, somebody recently called me an empath, and I was like, man, that's way better than being called emotionally handicapped, bro. Emotionally handicapped, they put you in a closet, they put you in this room, they say, you can't express your emotions in the way that other people do, so we have to lock you away. That's what emotionally handicapped for me. But to be called an empath, I can see now, I deal with emotions, and I feel them. And I'm having this tragedy that I didn't even watch, honestly didn't watch the video. I watched enough of surrounding the video to know if I watch the video, I'm not gonna be able to talk anymore, man. I'm not gonna be able to experience it because I haven't even seen the video, but I can keep seeing the video, man. Like even last night as I'm going to bed, I'm like, wow, I can't get this visual that I haven't even seen out of my mind. To be thinking about someone who's already captive. I've been told, hey, police come, put your hands up, get on the ground, submit, right? That's the way I was taught. You got to submit to make sure you don't get out of trouble. And I'm not saying this is about all cops, because I have 3 cops in my family, and I just was realizing somebody was like, what about Black cops? They're being treated as traitors from both sides, right? It's like, whoa. So I called them immediately. I called him. I was like, I just want to talk. I want to see how I can support you. Because I'm still, our awareness is generally so focused on us, and the more anxiety we have, the more we tighten in on ourselves. And so I'm even realizing that, wow, man, my awareness is so limited. So I'm calling them and I'm talking about my experiences. Yeah, I'm told the way to protect yourself, hands up, do exactly what the officers tell you to do, and that's how you make it home. If you get pulled over, hands on the steering wheel, this is how you make it home. And we're seeing that those rules are not applying anymore. It's like, wait a minute, I thought we were doing everything we were told to do, and we're still not making it home. What are we supposed to do then? And the greatest thing is, some people out there in this room may not be able to understand that experience. But I want you to imagine with me, if you can, that you get out of your house, you're going on a walk, you're excited to walk in your neighborhood. For me in Miami, it's a beautiful sunny day. You're excited to walk in your neighborhood. I just needed you to imagine this with me.
Do me a favor. I'm going to ask everybody to actually close their eyes as you imagine.
I appreciate that.
Oh, close your eyes as you imagine this. Please do that. Facebook right here. Close your eyes as you imagine this.
Thank you, Pete. So I want you to imagine that you walk out of your house, you lock your door, whatever it is, but you're walking out of your house and you get to be in your neighborhood. It's a beautiful sunny day. And you see some of your neighbors, you're waving. Yeah, man, it's amazing to live right where you live. You're so grateful to be alive. And it's one of those perfect days. And as you're walking, you turn a corner, you stop in your tracks because something has just scared you. And what you're seeing right now, you don't even know why it's in your neighborhood. And you're like, wait a minute, I pay too much to live here for this to be happening. I can't believe this is happening to me. I don't even know what to do right now. What do you see? What would stop you in your tracks? What would terrify you? What would make you feel so afraid that you consider moving or leaving or just staying home? I don't know what that is for you, but this past week, for me, it was seeing 20 cop cars parked right by the bay in my neighborhood. And I'm like, I was on the phone talking to a friend. I literally stopped what I was doing. And I was like, I can't walk down there. I'm not doing anything wrong, but I don't feel safe walking down there. What is that for you in your neighborhood? Maybe it's not the cops. Maybe it's you see someone that looks like me. And that's the other sad part. It's like, I'm trying to be part of a solution, but I'm involved in the problem and people also see me as part of the problem. So how am I supposed to do anything? And the crazy part, the reason I even asked you to visualize that, I think we're getting so caught up in the situations we can't understand. I want you to be thinking about the emotions that we can actually relate to. The emotion of being scared at the sight of something that you think may threaten your life, your very existence, that might threaten your kids, that might threaten your family. I want you to connect with that feeling. Some of us live with that every single day. If you can't connect with that sense of threat, what about the feeling of being disrespected? The feeling of being lost or hopeless? The feeling of just not knowing what to do, to simply be you. You're not even trying to do anything else but be yourself. I think if we get underneath the situations that we're struggling to understand and ask what happened before and after the cameras were rolling, if we get underneath all of that, we get underneath the systems, we're human beings with feelings. We can connect on some of those feelings. And the sad part is that we can actually connect way more on pain, because some of us have not experienced the pleasures that other people have experienced, but a lot of us have felt rejected, have felt put down, knocked down by people who we care about, and people we don't know as well. When I work with people, it's like taking them on this journey, because it's important that we understand what it means to relate to one another. But when we said racism is definitely a construct that we started to put to divide each other. And Pete, you were saying that the people in this room, they're not the far end of the spectrum of people who are racist. Those people don't show up. Somebody's been asking me lately, Kemy, how do I not offend people? I'm like, well, it depends who you're talking to. If someone's offended by my very existence, then my words are going to offend them for sure. And I'm not even the kind of person who's going to be cussing and throwing middle fingers like I used to. But if you're offended by my existence, you're going to be offended by my words, because I'm done staying quiet. I personally do feel bad that I haven't been involved in this movement either. Definitely Black Lives Matter to me for sure. And it's going back to that division. It's not just, white versus black or majority versus minority. We keep dividing ourselves. And it's easy for me to say, oh, I'm an educated black man, I should have more privilege than someone who didn't go to school. I say those things to myself for sure. So when we talk about something like privilege, it's not just white privilege. It's like Bunmi was saying, the privilege that we don't have to actually deal with something. And most of us, we don't even realize that we have privilege until someone either calls us out or we're in an experience where we're doing something that seems super normal, but then other people are not even able to do it. If I can just zoom out of race for a moment, I was driving some folks in a mountain in Oregon, and I love to be out there in nature. And this, I'll share more about that later. But we're driving up this mountain, and they're in the SUV is like 4 people behind me, and they're getting sick. And that was the first time I realized I have motion sickness privilege. The ability to travel and move on mountains and fly on planes without getting sick, whereas other people get immediately sick at the thought of even doing that. And the reason I bring this up is I would never want to give up my motion sickness privilege, but I can use it. In that instance, I decided to slow down, take the corners more carefully, check in with the people that I was responsible for leading, that I was responsible for driving. It's like Bunmi was saying, what if we use our privilege to serve? And there's so many more versions of privilege. We have technology privilege. I mean, I have, Pete's been seeing this, I have like multiple cameras and all these kind of things. I have so much privilege. And we're in a world where we've been confused around what privilege means. All the things that we're grateful for in life are usually privileges. Even the ability to think for ourselves and to choose to be grateful is a privilege because we're not dealing with the trauma that blocks us from even thinking logically. So I'm trying to help people expand what they believe is possible and also truly understand what's at the core of all of this, which is our prejudice. When we feel like we're under attack or someone has attacked our identity, our community, our way of life, on both sides, we can now create a barrier. We can create a different ism like racism, sexism, whatever. We can create an ism to make those people less than. Bunmi has said this, when we don't hear other people's stories, it's easy for us to not see them as human beings. We can actually knock them down a peg, whether it's cops towards black people or black people towards cops. You're having people say, kill cops. And I'm talking to my friends who are cops, and they're like, yo, that directly hurts me because they don't even know me, but they're putting a blanket statement to kill me. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. And they're like, yeah, we're both feeling it on the exact same, we can feel the same pain, but we're just expressing it different. And this is what's very interesting for us to continue to connect and engage with one another so we can actually humanize people again. Humanize the people that you don't want to talk to, the people you may not like to talk to. Our avoidance is just creating this gap. And I think it was John Gordon that said on this Rise Up Challenge, whenever there's a lack in communication, negativity will fill that space. The gap is massive. There's so much negativity in there, and we're just working to try to pull ourselves back together. But you got to be considering, how are you adding the negativity? I keep on trying to hype myself up to go and like talk to those officers. I'm trying not to let this be a barrier. Like, it's terrifying. Bunmi says it requires courage, man. I'm seeing this. I'm feeling this, man. Like, I'm trying to go say, how do I go talk to these cops? I don't want to be scared of my own neighborhood. But it just takes a lot, and I don't know what it will take from me. I'll report back when I do it, but it's like, it's this thing of that courage that we're talking about is real. And I think we only will activate courage, and we will only use our fears when there's something on the other side that we want more than what we're currently experiencing. Pete, you talked about this, from that pain to pleasure cycle, whether that means we're paying more money, we're putting our effort, we're doing something. Like, I want to feel safe in my neighborhood again. So it's requiring me to have the courage to say that the pain that I'm stuck in, I can't live in this anymore. I have to go, and either, I guess I could totally move out of my neighborhood, but that feels like I would be still running away. But I can go and talk to these cops and figure out what's going on, why they're even here. How can I connect with them in a way that actually allows both of us to feel safer in this neighborhood, in my neighborhood? Because what I want on the other side is that freedom. What I want on the other side is a dream that Bunmi was talking about, not an anti-racist dream, but a dream that we celebrate diversity, a dream that we don't even have to use the word anti-racist. We don't even have to like think anti something. We think, what do we actually want? I want the sense of freedom. Somebody who is free has a million dreams. They can dream of being an entrepreneur, rising up all over the world. Somebody who's oppressed only has one dream: to be free. I think we're seeing right now that people want freedom, and we've always been willing to sacrifice our lives for that freedom, including how America was founded. So it's important that my freedom doesn't jeopardize your freedom. What if we actually dreamed of something that we have freedom together? Because if you're not having to police me, you have more time and freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do in the world. So we actually get more free when we allow ourselves to be free. So thank you for listening and allowing me to share freely. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It was beautiful. Just incredible, man. I've got so many notes here and so many thoughts, and I appreciate your heart on it, man. I appreciate your heart and what you shared and Rise Up World. Like, listen, you can hear both of these incredible men's heart. And hey, for all my like, we had a lot of people on our town halls. We had a lot of folks there, both black men, black women. Kim and I have an incredible podcast where I interview my sisters this week, who are both two black sisters of mine. And I want you guys to be able to hear their perspective too, because this is real for both black men and black women, both of them. Like, hearing more of the Breonna Taylor story breaks my heart. Ahmaud's story reminds me of my nephew, like, just a sweet, compassionate, kind person. Like, just reminded me, like, this is real. And listen, it's really, a lot of us say that we're going to do something about it, and it's easy. And I appreciate people posting last Tuesday, but I told my wife, like, I don't even think I want to post on Tuesday, because I want to be able to do something on permanently. Guys, if there's anything that's volatile, it's the media. They're going to just go from one thing to the next. But yet, what faced us a couple of weeks ago was the first time that we had ever had something in our world. What's with COVID-19? What we're facing right now has remnants that has been around for hundreds of years in our world. And we have the opportunity to do something. We have the opportunity to use our voices. We have the opportunity to take a stand, make a difference. As these guys have said, with our skills, with our talents. And so one of the things that I want to do, and I'm gonna request of this, one of the most powerful conversations I had was yesterday. I had never had a conversation with my sisters about how they felt. Are you kidding me? My two sisters, I heard things yesterday for the first time that I'd never heard. My sweet little niece, who's 9 years old, was playing Duck, Duck, Goose in elementary school. She's 9 right now. And the kids would go around and go, duck, duck, black duck, 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 black duck. And she was so confused. Like, guys, we have got to be a part of rising up. We've got to be a part of the solution. We've got to be a part of this. And I know a week of work for me isn't enough. Like, I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work myself as a person of color. I am doing the work myself, because I don't understand the shoes in which Bunmi and Kemy and my sister Tasha and my sister Serena, I don't understand their shoes. And I'm walking in their shoes, and it's opening up my mind, and it's allowing me to see what I can do to be a part of the solution.
And can I share something real quick on that, Pete?
Yeah.
I appreciate. I mean, and a couple of things what you're talking about is you have a direct connection, right? And you are. It hurts your heart to be thinking about the people who you are with right now, who are struggling in this world, right? And I think that's why the more we get to know folks who don't look like us and experience something different, allows us to have that capacity to care beyond ourselves, because we have that more human connection. And the thing that you said about committing, this is the greatest question I've been asked over and over. I just want to show one thing. Can I just show one thing here?
Real quick,
So
because I
yeah,
want to make
real
sure
quick.
we give them the homework
I
assignment.
know,
Yeah.
but I think this is going to set
Oh,
them up for
good,
that,
good,
because
good.
so many people are asking. Hold on, let me see here. I have too many devices here. So many
Uh-oh.
people. No, I'm here. I just so many people are asking me about what it is actually take to change the world. So I'm just going to show you this real quick, Pete. This blew my mind when I saw it, and this is something that I need to show people, is that we're trying to change the world at this really high level, but we're all in this individual. We have so many ways to do this. We're at an individual level right now, most of us. Then we have the leadership level, the group level, the culture level, organizations, communities, cities, counties, states, regions, right? This keeps going all the way up to the top here. And most people think, they've been asking me over and over, do you think this Black Lives Movement is going to stop anything? Well, people assume that change happens like this, Pete, that we're going all the way to the top. We're about to change the world, Pete. They assume that it's going to happen this easy, that even a situation like this is going to expand beyond what we have in our country, and be actually able to make something different and change, when we are now saying that we can come together as human beings. And I love that philosophy, Pete. I love that idea. I love that, but I don't see it. Right? What I really see is this is what's happening for the Black Lives Matters movement, is that we're making progress, we're making change, not at that global level. And this is what I want people to just really understand. For the individuals who are not connected with all this, there's so much you can do at that level you just described, Pete. This is still a message of hope, Pete. It is saying, as an individual, serve where you're at as an individual. If you're a leader, serve where you're at as a leader. If you're in a group, like we are the Rise Up group, we're serving right now, right? We get to change the culture. I think the struggles we're seeing, that there hasn't been much even at the state level happening, or like legislation, even at the state level, that says we can structure our state and our laws like this. We haven't even seen that. We're trying to break through to the world. We got to capture our states, the hearts and the minds of the leaders at this level. And so I want to put this as a message of hope to people, Pete, that says we're looking at the world and saying the world hasn't changed yet. There's so many steps, there's so many layers, and we can all serve at the respective layer. And if we keep doing that, that gives us the wins we keep talking about and Rise Up. Get those wins and sustain where you're at, because as you spread your influence, it actually changes the whole picture as we start to go up. So thank you for letting me share that, Pete. I just want to help people feel like it is possible to make a difference, and just understanding the scales of that difference. And that way we stop measuring our current progress by the scale of the world, because what we're talking about right now is changing the world.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. So, hey, everybody, this is what I want you to do today. I want us to have a unique, I'm going to have our team post it'll be the main announcement section in this group here in the next couple hours. And I want you to do a couple of things. I want you to talk about your commitment to having a conversation like in your own home. Like, what is the commitment that you have in having a conversation in your own home and with your own family? You might get on Zoom and ask your family, what can we do to be a part of this? You might say, I'm going to show the video to my kids. I know that's an intense thing, but I felt like that intense thing was needed for my kids to understand the severity of what is going on. Like, what are you going to do in your own home? What are you going to do in your own home today? What's your plan with your own home? What is your plan within your own community? Your own community. That could be your local city, or that could be the platform in which you've been given. Like, this is my platform. No, nobody told me do this with your platform. It's something I felt in here. So what are you going to do at your own community? What are you going to do there? And then let's take it a step further. How are you going to use your skills and your talents, just like the nurse did? Just like the nurse did. How can you use your skills and your talents to make a difference at the bigger level, the state and the world level? Like, how are you going to use your skills and your talents? And then the last piece of this, so it's kind of like in my own home, with my own family, within my own community or my platform, how am I going to use my talents and my giftings to make a difference in this world? But here's the hardest one. What are you going to do the work? What are you going to do to educate yourself and no longer have these like biases that you have because we've learned from our grandparents and our grandparents and our grandparents, and it's like the most partial truth. It's like the telephone game over 7 generations down. Like, we got partial truths, we got a lot of non-truth. Like, what are you going to do the work? What's your commitment around the work? Bunmi gave you 2 books. We'll list those in the work section. He gave you 2 resources. We're going to attach 2 Google documents. And then I know that Kemy, and we're gonna attach this too, but Kemy's doing an incredible workshop to help people with the work. You just go to serve.fearsadvantage.com. Serve.fearsadvantage.com. We'll reference that in the homework assignment too. He's doing a workshop to help you understand how you can be the bridge. So what is your commitment to the work? To doing the work? Because here's the thing, with clarity comes confidence. And with confidence comes a strong, educated voice. And the Black Lives Matter need all voices right now. We need all voices to be and take a stand. But you've got to educate yourself. And so I'm curious, what is the commitment that you have to doing the work? And not the work this week, man. The common theme of all 3 town halls this week, what's the next thing in the media? Because their job is just to scare you and bring you whatever is the most up to date right now, what's going on. That shifts from season to season, week to week, maybe month to month. And so we got to be committed to the work today. Today, for the long haul, for the long game. This isn't a short game thing, guys. Tony Robbins says decades and days. Now that might apply, and I love the mentality of that. This is going to take us a decade, which means we got to commit today. We got to commit today to the long game of this. And that's hard work. That's hard work. So this is what I want to do, Jed. This homework assignment is really, really important this week. And so 10 people that post their homework assignments in a powerful way, I'm going to send you a bundle of these books, and I'll find out a couple of other resources from Kemy and Bunmi. And we're going to send you, we'll take care of 10 of you being a part of Kemy's workshop that he's doing. And then gift 10 of you both of these bundles of this book. So the 10 most powerful homework assignments that show up powerfully and post those homework assignments this week, we're going to do that. So guys, we're committed to being a part of this change. And we love you. We're going to go backstage now and have a little bit of Q&A time, but we will be back next week. Same time, same place. It's time to rise up, world. It's time to rise up. I love you guys.